Hello everybody, welcome back to another Quickie Critique. I know this video is a little late. This album that we're reviewing, Heaven Knows by PinkPantheress, came out a week ago when I'm recording this, and I was meaning to do it earlier, but I kind of forgot about it. And now, plus we have even more music to review, so quit your complaining and let's get into it. And yes, I am a little sick, so if I sound weird or if I look weird, then that's why. But let's get into it. So starting off with Heaven Knows by PinkPantheress. I'm a big PinkPantheress fan, as you can see right here. I really liked To Hell With It, her first album. And so I was pretty excited for this one. I was like, I like all of PinkPantheress' music. The only singles I've heard for this was Boy's a Liar, and obviously that's a great song. We'll talk about more later. I didn't really know what this album was gonna be like, except for I thought it was just gonna be like her old stuff, like To Hell With It, and just that, like, you know, indie kind of hyper pop aesthetic. To me, some of the songs kind of sound like they have this weird, like, borderline drill beat to it, especially the song with Central C. And to me, that feels like she was trying to do something different, but didn't really go full force at it. She really, like, for the most part, she stuck with what she normally does, which I'm fine with. I really like her old stuff, but also there were quite a bit of songs on here that I thought were pretty mid, that I don't really see myself going back to. Some of those being Nice to Meet You, Blue, Feelings, and Internet Baby. And to me, I think the worst part about this album are the features. Now, from the artists I've listened to, I've never really found one that sounds similar to PinkPantheress, so I don't really know any other artists that would sound like good with her. Obviously, Ice Spice on Boy's a Liar is great, so excluding that song, I think all of the features are pretty bad. They just don't really blend well together. Now, of course, there were some standout songs that I really like, that I think are like her old stuff, the stuff that really made me really enjoy her music, like True Romance, Ophelia, Capable of Love, and of course Boy's a Liar Part 2. I think those are all my favorite songs so far. And while I was pretty excited for this album, I will have to say it didn't really meet my expectations. I definitely don't enjoy it as much as To Hell With It. Maybe I need to listen to it again. I have listened to some of the songs over and over, but those were really the ones that I really enjoyed. Maybe I should go back to the ones I didn't really like, but so far I'm gonna say, after listening to Heaven Knows by PinkPantheress, I like it. It has a majority of good songs, but there are a good handful, I would say like maybe 5 or 6 that I thought were pretty mid, and I didn't really think interested me as much as the other songs. While I do like that she kind of tried something different with getting more features on this album and going a little bit away from her normal sound, I think she really needed to either fully go into something else or stay in what she was usually doing. Because to me, the songs that kind of mixed together different genres didn't really work. Now, of course, I could be just an idiot, and when you listen to this, you didn't see any of that at all. To each his own. And next, we are going to look at For All the Dogs Scary Hours edition. This is the Deluxe, a new EP, I don't know. I was going into this expecting a new EP from Drake, but apparently it's just a deluxe for All the Dogs, so I'm still gonna review it. It was 6 songs, and it was pretty good. I have to say, I enjoyed all of the songs on it. After the first song, I was like, wow, that's really good. After the second song, I was like, wow, that's also really good. Third song, I was like, they're all pretty good Drake songs, and I think all of them are better than everything on For All the Dogs. This is kind of like the same thing I said about 1989 Taylor's version. I think this deluxe is better than the entire album. Now, I do have to say, if these songs were originally on For All the Dogs, including all the other ones, then I probably wouldn't like it as much, because that would make this album almost 2 hours. And so I'm glad he released them separately. I do think they all kind of fit the vibe of For All the Dogs. And so I was surprised to say how much I enjoyed these songs. especially after I'm not the biggest fan of For All the Dogs. If you've seen the review, I said I liked it, but you know, it was very long. It's probably towards the bottom of Drake albums for me. Now, if you count the Scary Hours edition as a separate album, just looking at these 6 songs, I'd probably say this is a top Drake project. But if you're still including it with For All the Dogs, I'm gonna stick around my original ranking for it, but maybe move it up to more like the middle towards the top of Drake projects. And then lastly, we have the Deluxe for Alone at Prom by Tory Lanez. Now, I never reviewed Alone at Prom. It came out a while ago, and I enjoyed it. I like probably about half of the songs. You know, I wasn't the biggest fan. I'm not a huge Tory Lanez fan either. But I listened to the original one. I liked it, and so I was like, I might as well listen to the Deluxe. Now, the Deluxe is basically its own album. It's 10 songs, and I have to say, I didn't really like it as much. I definitely didn't like it as much as the original, but just thinking about it as its own album, I also didn't really like it. Now, it's the exact same sound as Alone at Prom, that kind of like 80s music, and with 10 new songs, I think it's about like 30-40 minutes long. I could be wrong. I probably am wrong. But to me, it just felt boring. Like, I really only liked maybe 3 or 4 of the songs, and then the rest kind of just, they were just like there. Like, I didn't really, maybe I wasn't like paying hard enough attention, but some of the songs went by and was like, I do not remember what that song sounded like directly after listening to it. Now, I like the original, like, Tory Lanez 80s sounds, like Alone at Prom. I did enjoy Alone at Prom, but this one, I'm glad these weren't on the original album, because that would have made me dislike the album a lot more. And while For All the Dogs Scary Hours edition and Alone at Prom Deluxe, I'm not counting them as real albums, I will say for Scary Hours, I like it, and for Alone at Prom Deluxe, I don't like it. This is vastly different. Scary Hours edition for All the Dogs was really good, and I highly recommend that to any Drake fan's gonna listen to it. But if you didn't really like For All the Dogs, I'd say you should listen to these new 6 songs, because they're all great. Now, the Alone at Prom Deluxe, I'd say you just stick with the original. In my opinion, it's much, much better. But, you know, some people probably enjoy it. I just thought, for the most part, they all sounded the same, and there was nothing really discerning them. Plus, I think the song Hurt Me, which like blew up on TikTok, I thought that was very underwhelming. I thought it was going to be a lot better, but I just like the chorus, you know. Thank you all so much for watching. I apologize this video's late, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye, everybody.